Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. You describe the photo. What do people see?
But it's a photo from on my book jacket, and the reason that I chose it, because I had to, because when it came time to make this book jacket,
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of funny here, so don't panic.
Okay.
But so this is a photo of me doing comedy, and I wanted to have like a one of those author photos where I'm looking like this over my shoulder and smiling, and I look super smart, and I'm standing in front of I don't know, some bricks or a tree or something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get that photo because I months before all of this came to be with this book, and the night before I was supposed to go record the Audible, I fell on a rug in my bathroom and impaled myself over the bathtub and hit my head on the opposite side of the bathtub and snapped my neck back and broke my neck.
What?
I broke my damn neck. So I could not go get a photo shoot because it was time for me to do a photo shoot for the book and time for me to record the Audible. And I was just like,
Katie,
and I'll tell you what.
What are you doing?
I am supposed to be here. I'll tell you that right now.
What are you doing?
So I'm laying there my head is like, there wasn't water in the bathtub. It wasn't like I was going to take a bath. I literally went into the bathroom, got caught up in this, like, don't ever do one of those rugs without any rubber backing. Bad idea.
Yeah.
And so I just got caught up in this thing. I just literally like tumbled, and I never had any bruising on my ribs or my arms. My head literally caught all of my weight. And folks,
holy shit.
I am not a size 1. I am not thin. I am a vivacious, full-figured lady. And my forehead took the brunt of all of my weight and snapped my neck back. Wow. And then I broke my neck.
Holy shit.
So I had to go into the catacombs of my comedy photos and find a photo that I really liked. And I loved this photo taken by Bill Kelly, who did this photo when I did a show for TMI Hollywood, which was very similar to Saturday Night Live. Yeah. It was a live tape show, and I was the comedy open. So nice. I went there and did that. And really scary show to do that, because when you are opening for sketch artists, nobody cares about what you have to say. They're just there to see the sketch artists. It's like trying to open for a band. Yep. Like they're there to see the band. There's like, shut up, Katie Love. But I got through it. And this is the photo from that.
So the photo is, it's you on stage holding a wireless mic.
Yeah.
You have 2 silver rings on your hand. I like how you play with the color red, because you obviously know it works well with your skin tone and with your hair. So you're wearing red lipstick. You're mid laugh, mid joke.
Yeah.
You're wearing a red dress that's got like poppies, red with black, I guess.
Yeah.
You've got a black sweater over your shoulders. On your neck is this silver necklace with a large heart. Of course, a large heart, because you're such a loving person.
Or I'm just really obvious with my fashion and I need help.
Well,
I might need a stylist.
You're telling the world, love me, please.
This woman needs love for the love of God. Yes.
It's shot from the audience, because then, the camera's slightly below eye line. Mm-hmm. You're looking forward, but again, you did it. Again, you set on the one side is the setup of here's you smiling, obviously at a moment, telling a joke to an audience, getting laughter. Mm-hmm. And then your story about it is, oh yeah, I fell and broke my neck.
I tried to prepare you though. I knew that was going to be difficult. But I lived through it. And I'll tell you what, there was a little voice that came on. Who knows what the voice was? And it said, get up, get up. It was so serious. Get up. So I was laying there. I lived by myself. I needed to get up because I didn't know if I had a brain bleed, what was happening.
You need to get help.
I've never gotten off the floor so fast in my life.
Wow.
I popped up
Like you fractured your neck is the story?
I
Is that his
broke
point?
I fractured my C1,
Oh,
which
wow.
the C1 is the atlas. It's
Yeah.
where your head sits.
Yep.
And how do I know this? I wouldn't have known this before, but I've done a lot of research since.
Yep.
And now I know where all my numbers are. C1, C7. But so I fractured my C1. It was a clean break. I was in a neck brace for 3 or 4 months, and I had to record the audible in a neck brace. I took about 5 weeks off to heal.
Wow.
Enough to go record this audible. And that was, I will tell you, one of the most difficult tasks I've ever done, because you when you're telling a story, your body moves with the story, and as a comedian, you should be moving on stage. You should be fluid. You should be talking. You should be connecting, and so I wanted to do that, in the booth, and I couldn't. I had to be like, so I had to do it all in my voice. And I mean, I do have some acting training, but I'm not a professional voiceover actor.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to the greats. I went and listened to David Sedaris. I listened to Molly Shannon. She did a great job on her audible for Hello, Molly. I listened to Retta.
Stephen Hawking?
I did not. I did not go to Steve Hawking. I was trying to go for some comedy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I did go to Viola Davis. Her book had just come out, her memoir.
Mm-hmm.
And she's such a just a treasure. And so, but her voice is very deep, and it was very serious. And I'm like, no, I need some comedy-esque in this. I need to go back to comedy. So
can I hear you gritting your teeth in the reading if I pay attention?
Oh my gosh. Like, no, you can't. But I worked really hard to get to a point where I felt ready. Like I really, really, really worked on it. And I'm so proud of that work.
Yeah.
So what was really different about it, though, was I couldn't drive. So my publisher, Crew West, thank you, Crew West, he Ubered me over to the studio every day to Burbank.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were wonderful, because my book has some heavy stuff in it, obviously. It has some comedy, too, but these guys were really something.
But of course, you're reading it with a broken neck. Like, what?
I promise you nothing else bad's going to happen. It's all good from here on out.
First of all, I don't believe you. So here's an idea. Here's an idea for you. Okay, it's like,
yes,
like I may be completely wrong, but I have this feeling that it's from statistics. It's going to be really boring. It's this idea of regression to the mean, which is that everything kind of heads back towards your average, right? So let's just say in your life, let's just say your life is average. Okay. Like most people's lives are kind of average, but in your case, you have these incredible spikes or dips or whatever that are just shockingly bad, right? Like it's just like you've been through some shit. Like it's been,
I feel like
right?
I feel like I need to get you therapy. We need therapy.
No, but hold on a second. We're
going to go out for a drink.
Yes.
All right.
But in order for your life to kind of be average, like on the whole,
yes.
In order for the bottom not to completely overtake, the average, you also have to have these incredible highs, right?
Yes.
So you need to have these amazing spikes, because how else can you get through your day? So here you are in front of, okay, so let's just say as a stand-up comedian, when was there a moment where you owned the stage and you were just like, it was unbelievable? Comedians bomb. It's part of of stand-up. So when was there a time when it was like the way opposite, like the opposite of a bomb, like you were just flying?
Well, this is a great question, because I was in the neck brace, and I've been doing comedy off and on for 25 years. So my producer, who's also my publisher, he said, well, we have to cancel the show. And it was already booked. It was a show that I produced and created. And we were running this particular episode. And it was called Comedy 420, 4 comics doing 20 minutes. And he said, we're going to have to cancel the show, and that's fine. Don't worry about it. I go, what? Oh, no, we're not canceling the show. I'm going to do the show. He's like, You're in a neck brace. And it was like, the show was 10 days later. And he goes, oh no, you got to cancel the show. I go, Scott, I'm telling you, I'm going to do the show.
Has he met you?
And, and I said, we don't cancel shows. And this weird, like, vaudeville, like, come on, kid, pull your pants up, put your boots on. We're going to do a show, you know? Yep. And it wasn't like I was like, you know, playing the Greek theater or something. It was like, you know, it's this little comedy club in LA. But it was my show. And I wasn't good. I did know that I couldn't get up and down off the stage when I was hosting. So I asked a fellow comedian to host the show for me. But I said, no, I have a lot to talk about. And I was pissed off because of the medical system and the way everything was handled. Once I got in the ambulance and I went to the hospital, they parked me out in the emergency area. And when I say emergency area and say parked, I mean they parked me with the cars. I was outside. Mosquitoes were eating my feet for 2 hours. I could have had a brain bleed. I'm sitting out there in the parking lot. I'm like, can we get me inside? So I had all of this material. Yeah. That was just like, I had to get it out. So it's literally on YouTube right now, I think on my comedy channel, which I think
we're just gonna do whatever we can to get you a bazillion views because
it's called Katie Love Comedy, I think, or something like that. Yeah, Katie Love Comedy.
Easy to remember, Katie Love Comedy. That's it.
Boom. Yeah, so I put that setup because it's me doing comedy 10 days after I broke my neck.
Holy shit.
And I am in shock, and here's the weird thing. I was full of so much adrenaline that I really wasn't in a lot of pain. And it wasn't like I was totally amped up on pain pills. I'm really not that, you know, I'm just not really into that. I'm sure there's plenty of people that want to knock on my door right now and see if I have any left over. I do. Yeah. I will not answer the door. I will not give you my pain pills. But I'm not really that kind of person that pops a pill, you know. So I look back on this and I go, I really wasn't in pain. The pain came way later. When the swelling came down, when the shock wore off, and it came in the emotional waves of, I could have died in this book. I wouldn't have been able to see my book published. Right. Are you kidding me? Like, that's what I thought at first. Like, I wanted to tell this story, and I was so hell-bent on talking about what had happened on stage. And I told a really funny story about how I seemed to attract really weird doctors. And I just kind of blended it. And I wrote it that day. This is why I think it was, to answer your question accurately, why this was such a big deal for me is I wrote the set out that day in the afternoon and performed it like 3 hours later.
That's nuts.
And I did that with a broken neck. So it may not be like there's a million people in the audience and it's just a laugh every second. But to me, it was such a, it was just such a wonderful moment because I was who I am. I was performing and I was working through the pain that I would feel later. And when I would go home after I would record the Audible, you know, I think it took like 20 sessions. And I couldn't go to the beach where I would, you know, usually if I'm like feeling rattled or, you know, upset, nature is my church. So I go out into the meadow and I talk to myself and I write jokes or I call my friends on the phone or family or whatever. But I love to go to the ocean when things feel really tangled up. I go to an expanse that's much larger than me where I can say, this is where it's at. This is my church, you know, and friends tease me, nature is my church, you know, but I'm like, no, it really is. And I couldn't do that because I couldn't drive anywhere. On the last day of the recording, my friend came to town and I had to go record what is probably one of the most difficult chapters of the book is the epilogue. And it, you know, it took me down. It really took me down. I'm still in the neck brace. And I just got out of there and everybody in the studio was crying. I was crying. She was crying. I think we went and got donuts and said, let's go to the beach. And we went to the beach in Zuma, California, outside of Malibu. And I just sat out there. And I think she came up to like say something to me and I just like, I don't mean to be rude, but I literally have to sit here by myself for a minute. Yeah. And I took all of that, you know, all those times in the Audible booth where I couldn't really express my emotions because you can't cry in the booth because it changes your sinuses. So if you're doing a recording, it'll change my voice timbre.
Yep.
So I was very disciplined to compartmentalize my emotions. So when I got out to the beach, I was just like, ugh, you know, and I let it go, you know, and I learned a lot about myself in that process. So then I was all cocky and thought I had it all down. And then you came along and said, pick out 4 photos. And so now I'm like, damn it, I thought I was healed.
So I set you back.
No, it was a really good experience. I'm so honored to have done this.
Katie.
Of course, it's not over yet. I act like we're ending this, but I'll let you do that. It's your podcast.
Right. Well, thanks. You're going to be like, okay, we're going to thank me for coming. Okay, well, thank you.
See you later. I've been here all week.
Katie, you're awesome. Yeah, no, this has been great.
I feel the same.
A bomb. Like, it's so good. So good. And of course, okay, so again, everybody needs to read your book. So the title again, so it burns in people's heads.
Yes, 2 Tickets to Paradise from Cult to Comedy. We have a really easy website where you can go and make your choice of an ebook, a paperback, or the Audible, and it's booksbykatielove.com. We'll take you right to our publisher page, and then you can make your choice there. And then we're getting into all the bookstores and all that. That takes a bit of time, but yeah.
Books by Katie Love.
Booksbykatielove.com. That's us.
Jokes by Katie Love.
That's right.
Life by Katie Love. So good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.